Jungkook and Jimin shocked the American public with an unexpected appearance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, broadcast live from New York this week. This secretly planned surprise has sparked massive euphoria among global ARMY and is considered one of the most emotional moments in the history of the relationship between BTS and their fans in the United States. Their appearance was not announced beforehand by either the show's production team or their agency. According to internal sources, the initiative came directly from Jimmy Fallon, who personally arranged everything with HYB Entertainment's management several months prior. Fallon is said to have contacted HYB directly to ensure Jimin and Jungkook's schedules allowed for it. Both expressed their willingness to participate without conditions upon learning that the performance was dedicated specifically to ARMY. Jungkook, who was in Los Angeles for studio rehearsals, immediately canceled previously scheduled activities. Jimin, who was attending a series of meetings with global brands at the time, promptly confirmed his participation in the show. The rehearsal and technical checks were conducted intensively. Jimin arrived early for soundcheck sessions, while Jungkook focused on lighting and camera angles to ensure maximum visual quality. Production staff noted that the professionalism and cooperative attitude of both left a profound impression during the preparation process. When the show began, Jimmy Fallon opened with a statement different from his usual. He conveyed that the night was not merely an entertainment performance, but an emotional tribute dedicated to BTS fans worldwide. Fallon stated that this performance was a form of respect and love for ARMY, who have loyally supported BTS for years. When Jimin and Jungkook's names were mentioned, the NBC studio erupted with audience screams. The atmosphere drastically shifted to one filled with emotion. Some audience members were even seen crying while clutching their purple light sticks. That moment was captured live by studio cameras and spread widely on social media within minutes. Jimin and Jungkook did not only perform a song, they also sat down with Fallon and shared stories about their journey in the United States. Jimin revealed his first experience at a US concert and how that moment remains etched in his memory. Jungkook added a story about his mistake in mentioning a city's name during a concert, which was met with even greater support from ARMY at the venue. One of the most touching segments occurred when Fallon played a compilation video of American fans' reactions to BTS over the past few years, including when BTS received a Grammy nomination and when fans sang "Magic Shop." After the video ended, the studio fell silent. Jimin was seen wiping his eyes, and Jungkook held Fallon's hand while saying, "They are too precious. We want to keep giving more." The next segment, titled Wishes from ARMY, featured 3 fans invited to deliver messages directly to Jungkook and Jimin. One of them was Clara, a 16-year-old girl undergoing chemotherapy, who stated that BTS's music had given her the strength to keep fighting. Jimin's response was to step off the stage and immediately embrace Clara. Jungkook then whispered something, and shortly after, Fallon announced that Clara would be personally invited to BTS's next concert with all expenses covered. The climax of the night occurred when Jimin and Jungkook performed Echo of You, a song that has not yet been officially released. The song was performed from the center of the studio, surrounded by ARMY in attendance. The audience not only listened, but sang along. The purple glow from light sticks filled the entire room, creating an atmosphere described by the media as sacred and full of love. After the song concluded, Jimmy Fallon stood and presented 2 symbolic golden keys to Jimin and Jungkook. The keys represented special access to the NBC studio, signifying that both are always welcome to return whenever they wish. Their reactions were quite emotional. Jungkook hugged Fallon while saying, "We will return, but not just as guests. Someday we will create a show together." The show's closing featured a message on the main screen: "See you again, ARMY." The surprises didn't end there. Fallon then asked Jimin and Jungkook to stay in the studio for an after-show session exclusively for the attending ARMY and production crew. In this session, they delivered deeply emotional personal statements. Jimin opened the session by saying he had felt significant anxiety after completing his mandatory military service. He questioned whether he could still deliver the same energy as before. However, that night proved that ARMY's love never faded. Jungkook added that what he missed most during his military service was not just music, but the feeling of standing in front of ARMY. Jimmy Fallon also announced an additional surprise: exclusive access to a secret music studio in New York, which now has a dedicated space named after Jimin and Jungkook. Both were given personal access cards and the right to record anytime, without formal notice. This moment once again filled the studio with emotion. After leaving the studio, the two took time to greet fans one by one. A car was prepared outside, but before entering, Jimin called his personal cameraman and said, "Record this." He then looked at the camera and delivered a message to ARMY worldwide, thanking them for restoring their passion for life. The next day, global media began covering the surprise. Billboard called it the biggest emotional comeback in K-pop history in America. Variety published an article titled, "The Magic of Jimmy Fallon and BTS," one surprise that changed the world. Even the New York Times issued a special editorial describing Jimin and Jungkook as symbols of the most effective and emotional Asian American cultural connection. Their performance video, particularly Echo of You, was immediately uploaded by NBC and HYB's official channels. Within the first 6 hours, the video garnered over 10 million views. Comments from fans and celebrities poured in. Shawn Mendes called Jimin's vocals unreal, while Camila Cabello described Jungkook as the soul of the entire performance. The impact extended beyond music to the fashion industry. The leather jacket worn by Jungkook and Jimin's white denim outfit sold out within 2 days. Several designers noted that the moment created unprecedented exposure for their brands. From South Korea, national media gave significant attention to the cultural impact of this performance. Outlets like Korea Young Daily described it as a highly effective form of informal cultural diplomacy. The South Korean government, through the Ministry of Culture, stated that the moment successfully strengthened cultural ties between South Korea and the United States. As a follow-up, Fallon announced that the moment would be released as an exclusive digital miniseries titled Backstage with BTS, The Secret Night. This documentary series will air on NBC's platform and explore the preparation process from start to finish. HYB also officially confirmed that Echo of You will be released as a global digital single in 2 versions, studio and live from The Jimmy Fallon Show. This announcement was met with enthusiasm from fans and the international music community. Days after the event, the American ARMY community announced plans for a tribute screening, an event to replay the surprise at independent cinemas across the country. During these events, fans will write letters to BTS, which will be sent directly to South Korea as a gesture of appreciation. The impact of the performance continues to unfold. Streaming data shows a surge in demand for Echo of You, both in lyric searches and covers from various countries. The song became a trending topic in over 30 countries and opened possibilities for larger international collaborations in the future. In conclusion, the surprise orchestrated by Jimmy Fallon for Jimin and Jungkook was more than just an entertainment act. It was a momentum that reconnected BTS and ARMY in an emotional bond that had been paused due to the group's hiatus. Jimmy Fallon succeeded in creating not only a memorable performance, but also a historic moment that demonstrated music, love, and sincerity can unite the world in one night. Jungkook and Jimin's surprising performance on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon has created a wave of emotion and global attention on an unprecedented scale, particularly for the ARMY community worldwide. However, as the widespread euphoria circulates across platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, a crucial question begins to emerge. Was the entire sequence of events truly authentic, or was it a systematic fabrication designed to build a dramatic narrative for specific purposes? The public is currently flooded with videos, fan reaction compilations, celebrity comments, live performance clips, and behind-the-scenes footage that have simultaneously spread across nearly all global social media channels. Many claim that the night was one of the most emotional and influential events in BTS's history. But have we truly verified the authenticity of all this content? Were all those interactions genuine? Or were they meticulously scripted to manipulate collective emotions and strengthen fan loyalty? Were symbolic gestures like the NBC Golden Keys, the announcement of a personal concert for a cancer patient, and the establishment of a secret studio in New York part of BTS's brand positioning strategy in the Western market? Or did they genuinely stem from the sincere intentions of those involved? On one hand, it cannot be denied that Jimin and Jungkook's presence had a tangible impact. Data shows that searches for Echo of You surged sharply worldwide, including in countries with previously low exposure to BTS. Within 24 hours of the performance, phrases like Jungkook surprise NBC, Jimin emotional comeback, and Echo of You lyrics dominated online searches. On the other hand, there are gaping questions. Why didn't any mainstream media report on this plan before the broadcast? Is it truly possible that there were no information leaks in today's digital era? Or was the leak that didn't leak part of a carefully calculated marketing strategy? Furthermore, as information consumers, are we critical enough in responding to the narrative flow shaped by social media algorithms? Many of us watched clips of Jimin embracing Clara or Jungkook holding Jimmy Fallon's hand with teary eyes. But to what extent can we confirm that those moments weren't choreographed? That the cameras weren't strategically directed to maximize emotional impact? It must be emphasized that the information used in this article is sourced from a compilation of content across various media, including digital platforms like TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and broadcast clips from NBC. However, the authenticity and context of these fragments still require further clarification from the directly involved parties. In this context, have you, the reader, realized that every piece of content you see might be a fragment of a narrative deliberately separated, selected, and reassembled to elicit a specific response? There's also a deeper question. Can the possibility of a grand scenario behind the performance be entirely ruled out? Hasn't the global entertainment industry repeatedly shown how natural moments are often the result of highly structured productions involving creative teams, PR, and media psychologists? Jimmy Fallon is widely known as a savvy media figure who creates viral moments for his guests, whether through lighthearted games, unexpected drama, or strategically captured emotional moments. Thus, it's reasonable for the public to question, was Jimin and Jungkook's performance truly driven by their personal will, or was it part of a post-military service image restoration project orchestrated by their management team in collaboration with major American media networks? It's worth noting that not everyone welcomed the performance with praise. Some media observers and more critical fans voiced concerns that such an emotional performance could trigger unrealistic expectations for artists just returning from a long hiatus. They argue that expectations for BTS, particularly Jimin and Jungkook, could become psychologically burdensome if not managed proportionately. From a modern journalism perspective, this moment serves as a critical case study on how collective emotions can form rapidly and how narratives of coming home or rising after a break can be powerful promotional tools. This reflects that media's role is no longer just to convey facts, but to shape reality through narrative, i.e., in other words, are you witnessing reality or consuming a curated reality? We must also ask, how could a major outlet like NBC allow two major guests to appear without publicity? Isn't it possible that this was a result of collaboration between Fallon's production team and HYB's marketing team, who saw a golden opportunity to create a historic moment to boost BTS's global image and relevance during their transition phase? There's nothing wrong with effective communication strategies. However, it becomes dangerous when the public stops questioning the behind-the-scenes processes and begins accepting all broadcasts as absolute fact. When logic ceases and only emotion prevails, the public becomes passive consumers easily mobilized in a digital world rife with visual manipulation and engineered narratives. Skepticism is a necessity, not a choice. Therefore, we invite readers to pose reflective questions. Do the videos you see truly reflect the full reality? Does the narrative shaped by social media align with the actual chronology? Who benefits the most from this surprising performance? Is it possible that we are all part of a large-scale perception experiment? It's also important to examine how information spreads. Within hours, phrases like "Echo of You Live" and "Jimmy Fallon surprised BTS" trended in over 30 countries. This proves that content distribution networks are highly efficient in spreading specific narratives. But does the speed of information dissemination match the depth of its verification? We live in an era where emotions are sold like commodities. In this case, ARMY's collective emotions became the main driver of the narrative being shaped. But who controls those emotions? Are you truly feeling what you feel, or are you being guided to feel it? A critical stance doesn't mean denying reality. It's a form of intellectual maturity to question how reality is constructed and by whom. Thus, reflection is a crucial step. We cannot swallow all content, even from seemingly credible sources, without re-examining and questioning the intentions behind it. We are not saying this moment was a lie, nor are we asserting its entirely absolute truth. What we convey is a call to think more deeply, more reflectively, and more critically in responding to all forms of public phenomena. In the near future, NBC plans to release an exclusive documentary titled Backstage with BTS, The Secret Night, and hybe is reportedly set to upload rehearsal videos, behind-the-scenes interactions, and recordings of Jimin and Jungkook's voices before the performance. It will be intriguing to see whether this content provides full transparency or adds another layer to the pre-existing narrative. Finally, we conclude with the most critical question. Are you truly certain that what you witnessed that night was a spontaneous and sincere moment? Or was it a meticulously crafted event leveraging global sentiment to strengthen a brand's position? The answer lies with you. And how you answer will shape how the future of information is formed. So question, doubt, reflect. Because in an era of information overload, doubt is a form of love for the truth. However, these critical questions remain largely unanswered. Instead, more layers unfold as we delve deeper. For instance, why did a broadcaster like NBC choose to air the entire event without prior promotion? Isn't it typical in the ratings and commercially driven entertainment industry for major moments to be preceded by teaser campaigns, exclusive previews, or massive promotions? The absence of promotion raises two contrasting possibilities. First, that this was indeed a pure surprise prepared in secrecy for maximum emotional impact. Second, that it was part of a disguised marketing campaign designed to appear more authentic and natural. In strategic communication, this approach is known as engineered authenticity. Creating authenticity crafted to be perceived as spontaneous, we must honestly ask ourselves, are we witnessing reality or a curated reality? A reflective stance becomes crucial when we see how media and major agencies control narratives. Many of us felt that moments like Jimmy Fallon embracing Jungkook or Jimin stepping off the stage to hug Clara were the pinnacle of humanity from these two K-pop stars. But how often do we ask, who first decided that moment deserved camera focus? Were those emotions truly natural, or were they positioned to become the main material in broadcast editing and post-event content distribution? In modern media production, cameras don't just record, they direct. Imagine how a production team can swiftly zoom in on Clara's tears or capture a close-up of Jimin holding her hand tightly. That's not coincidental. It's an editorial choice. Thus, it's reasonable for the fundamental question to resurface. Are your feelings being shaped? Or are you shaping your own feelings? Sensitivity to such media manipulation should not diminish the beauty of the moment. Rather, by understanding how narratives are constructed, we become smarter consumers, less swayed by symbolism, and able to distinguish between authentic emotional value and commercial constructs wrapped in human drama. Additionally, the aftermath of the event deserves scrutiny. Data shows that within less than 24 hours post-performance, BTS merchandise sales surged nearly 200% on several major e-commerce platforms in America and Southeast Asia. Some industry observers noted that the moment shifted attention from local artists and became a re-entry point for BTS's global dominance after their military service hiatus. Doesn't this demonstrate how organized and powerful the impact of a single, precisely orchestrated media moment can be? Moreover, the South Korean government's public praise of the performance as a form of cultural diplomacy indicates highly effective soft power. But once again, we must ask, is the function of such cultural diplomacy purely to strengthen international relations? Or is there a deeper economic political dimension, especially as South Korea pushes for global expansion of its creative industries? Let's not forget that at that moment, Echo of You, a song not yet officially released, immediately topped various global music platforms and searches. This is highly unusual unless a pre-planned information distribution strategy was in place. Thus, if we claim to be savvy viewers and wise media observers, the question we should ask is no longer, why was this moment so touching? But who benefits from all this? Why does information leak so neatly to the public but always stop at a certain point, as if teasing yet not fully transparent?